Charles Hamilton Houston was born in 1895 in Washington, D.C. during a time when the United States had many unfair laws that treated African Americans differently just because of the color of their skin. These unfair rules were called Jim Crow laws, and they made life hard for black people. But Charles had a strong heart and a smart mind. He believed that education and justice were powerful tools that could help change the world. And he used those tools to build a better future. Charles went to a school called M Street High School. It was one of the best schools for African American students in the country. He worked very hard and was a top student. He loved learning, especially about writing and speaking. He knew that if he wanted to make a difference, he had to be excellent. In 1915, Charles graduated and went to Amherst College in Massachusetts. There he continued to shine as a student and was the only African American in his class. After finishing college, he served in World War I as a second lieutenant in the Army. But when he came home, he was treated unfairly just because he was black. This made him very upset and even more determined to fight injustice. After the war, Charles decided to become a lawyer. He went to Harvard Law School and was so smart that he became the first African American editor of the Harvard Law Review. That was a big deal. He learned that laws could either hurt people or help them. He wanted to change the laws that hurt people just because of their race. Charles became a teacher at Howard University School of Law in Washington, D.C. There he trained a new generation of African American lawyers who would fight for civil rights. One of his most famous students was Thurgood Marshall, who later became the first African American Supreme Court justice. Charles taught his students to be brave, smart, and to use the law like a sword and shield to protect people's rights. He believed that the best way to defeat segregation was through the courts. So he became the special counsel for the NAACP, the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People. That means he was their top lawyer. He traveled around the country collecting stories and evidence of how unfair schools were for black children. One of the big problems was that schools were separate but equal. That meant black and white kids went to different schools. But in truth, the schools for black children had fewer books, worse buildings, and less money. Charles said this was not fair, and he used real facts and court cases to prove it. He worked on many cases that helped chip away at segregation. His legal plans and ideas became the foundation for the most famous school case in American history, Brown versus Board of Education. Although he passed away in 1950 before that case was won in 1954, it was his hard work that made the victory possible. People call African American Charles Hamilton Houston the man who killed Jim Crow, because he used the power of the law to destroy unfair rules. He believed that a lawyer was either a social engineer who helped build a better society or a parasite on the community. Charles chose to be a builder. He was brave even when it was dangerous. He went into towns where African Americans were not welcomed. He spoke up in courtrooms where judges were not friendly. He worked long hours and traveled on rough roads. But he never gave up. His dream was to make America a country where everyone was treated equally. Charles Hamilton Houston passed away in 1950 at just 54 years old. But his impact lives on. Every time a child goes to a good school, no matter their race or background, we can thank African American Charles Hamilton Houston. Every time a law protects people from being treated unfairly, it carries his spirit. His life teaches us that change is possible with education, hard work, and courage. He didn't carry a protest sign or shout in the streets. He fought with books, words, and truth. He showed that a lawyer can change history. So the next time you hear about fairness or justice or equal rights, remember African American Charles Hamilton Houston. He built the path that many walked after him. He was a teacher, a warrior, and a dreamer with a sharp mind and a kind heart. Thanks to African American Charles Hamilton Houston, the world is a fairer place. And it all started with a young boy who believed he could use the law to make things right. If you like this video and would like to see more content like this, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, and share with others.